guys! Today I'm going to review Lust for a Vampire.
Welcome to the finishing school, where they really do finish you.
Lust for a Vampire came out in 1971 and is the second in the Karnstein trilogy of movies that Hammer did. The first is The Vampire Lovers from 1970, then this one, Lust for a Vampire, in 1971, and the third is Twins of Evil, also from 1971. Lust for a Vampire is also known as Love for a Vampire and To Love a Vampire. The film is based on the 1872 novella Camilla by Sheridan Le Fanu. The screenplay was by Tudor, who also did all of the three Karnstein trilogy. It was directed by Jimmy Sangster. Music was by Harry Robinson, who also did the music for all the other three films in the Karnstein trilogy. Not only was the writer and the composer in all three of the Karnstein films, Harvey Hall, the actor, was also in all three films, playing a different character in each film. Terence Fisher was going to direct, but unfortunately he was injured in a car accident. Peter Cushing was also going to be in the film, but had to drop out because of his wife's sickness, and he had to look after her. And this is the only film in the trilogy that he's not in. Ralph Bates replaced Peter Cushing, and he would go on later to describe the film as one of the worst films I've ever made. Fans and critics criticised the film as being too camp, but it now has a cult following. The film also has a song, Strange Love, that was recorded by Tracy and is featured in the middle of the film. The film runs 95 minutes and was given an R rating in the US. The film had less lesbianism than The Vampire Lovers because of the censors. The film stars Jutta Stransgaard, Michael Johnson, Ralph Bates, Barbara Jefford, Suzanna Leigh and Mike Raven. The plot's very much like the first film, The Vampire Lovers. Only difference is the lesbianism's toned down. Instead of the vampire going after women all the time, she seems to fall in love with this male lead who's in the film. But the first two films are very similar. Twins of Evil, the third in the series, that's different. So Jutta Stransgaard, she looks stunning in this film with her blonde hair. The film starts off really well with a resurrection scene, where you see her bones and blood gets splashed on them. A woman gets sacrificed with her throat cut. And there's this eerie sound effects while the corpse is getting resurrected. And the lighting as well, it looks really effective. It's probably my favourite scene in the film. It's really well done, very atmospheric, that scene. And I like when she sits upright as well. And she takes the shroud off herself. And you see her as a stunning woman with blood all over her chest. This film also has a decent cast. Hammer always seemed to get a good group of actors together for these films. I think Ralph Bates, he's the standout in this. He was really good in the part he plays.
You see, I have studied your magic. I know the black art, and I want only to know more and more.
It's pity he gets killed off halfway through though. I would have liked to have seen more of him. And he's a very underrated actor as well. Some of his best films were Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde. He's also great playing Lord Courtly in Taste the Blood of Dracula. And he went on to say this was one of the worst films he ever made. Although he's brilliant, it would have been interesting to see what Peter Cushing would have been like. Unfortunately, he had to drop out, but it would have been probably a much stronger film if Cushing had been in this one. So the problem with this film is it starts off really well and then seems to run out of steam halfway through. And it has a poor ending as well, where the villagers go to attack the vampires with torches. And it's a pity because Tudor, he wrote the screenplay for all three of the films and he seemed to do a poor job with this one. It seems to lose its way, the film. The music's really good though. Harry Robinson, he did a really good job with all three of these films. It's a nice change from the usual James Bernard type of music that's bombastic. This has a more subtle musical sound to it. Even the song halfway through, it's during a love scene. Strange Love, sung by Tracy. Hey, Phil! Why's she gone cross-eyed when she gets shagged?
Love me.
Strange love. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Eh, bloody hell, having a bloody song in the middle of a Hammer film. Is it a Hammer film or the fucking Sound of Music? Michael Johnson, he is good as the male lead, but he's a bit of a stereotype. One of these carefree leads that likes to live life and go with all these women.
I would not advise you to be enticed by any beautiful stranger.
Just give me a chance, that's all I ask.
You won't get characters like that in modern films now.
I might even find one of those beautiful vampires waiting to entice me.
One of the poorest things about the film's Mike Reeve. He's a DJ turned actor, and he wanted to be a horror star. In Lust for a Vampire, he was actually dubbed by Valentine Dahl, the same actor who stars in Doctor Who as the Black Guardian. Mike Reeve's horror career as a horror star was short-lived. He only made 4 notable films. 3 were in 1971, Lust for a Vampire, I, Monster and Crucible of Terror. And in 1972 he made Disciple of Death. But he seems to copy Christopher Lee. He's got the same type of hair. And to make matters worse, they even used some footage of Christopher Lee's eyes with the red contact lenses in. Eh, bloody hell. He's just bloody copying Christopher Lee, him. Yes, he was, Bones. He was just copying Christopher Lee.
Turn now this fresh, warm blood.
How the hell did Mike Reeve get away with that? If I was Christopher Lee, I'd be bloody knocked to hell. Another interesting thing about this trilogy of vampire films is the vampires. They're not affected by daylight. Whereas like in Hammer's Dracula series, all the vampires always go to rest during the day. But these vampires, they're walking around in daylight, not bothered. Jimmy Sangster, he's not that great a director. Another film that he did for Hammer was Horror of Frankenstein, and that was disappointing as well. It's a pity Terence Fisher didn't manage to do this film. Fortunately, he had a car accident, but he was planning to do this film and it would have been a great film if he'd have directed. If he'd have directed and also had Peter Cushing in the film, it would have been outstanding. So overall, I thought this was disappointing. After the vampire lovers really enjoying that, watching this second film, like disappointing because the beginning was really good, like the first half. I was really into it, and then it seems to fizzle out. And the ending's really disappointing. But even though it's a below par Hammer film, Hammer, you always seem to enjoy them. Even the weaker films, there's a certain look to these Hammer films that really are appealing. So they're always watchable and fun. So out of 10, what would I give this one? I've got to be honest, I'll only give it a 7. 7 out of 10. But they do think Bones, they do like it. It's not the best Hammer film, but at least they say some knockers in it. Is that why you're a fan of Benny Hill, Bones? Yeah, Benny Hill's excellent.
For a moonlight swim, then you'll feel much better.
Bones is a tit man. Yeah, and Phil's just a tit. So next I'll be reviewing Twins of Evil, the third in the trilogy, so look out for that one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the review. Bye! Like, subscribe and share. Bye! Bye!
I think I'll take that. All right, girls, into bed now. Quickly.
There you have it. Listen.